Hi guys, welcome to the second lesson on the Cinema 4D course, where we're creating this virtual or futuristic style scene. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to place a camera. We're going to insert a camera that will go down this path here. Okay, so let's get right to it. So we'll go here to camera. Let's select this one and we'll place it here. And we get the camera's view. So if I zoom out like this, I can see where the camera is. And if I click on this button, I go into the camera again. To control this properly, we'll add a null object. And we'll place the camera inside that null object. And we'll give this a name. So camera. And this is inside our null object. Now it's just easier to move the camera. Let's change these to 0. Okay, I just need to select apply. Remember to do that. So carry on putting these to 0, so the camera is at point 0, apply, and the camera changes to that position. So we can drag it to the right. And now the camera is at 0. Now we're going to add a spline, which will link to the camera. You can do this in different ways. There are different splines, but we're going to select this one, the helix. Let's rotate it first. Put it up a little bit. More or less there is fine. Okay, now let's go into the properties of the helix. Put a 0 here. Another 0 in end. Change the height to 1000. So you see it's no longer really a helix, but it's a normal spline. Let's keep increasing this to make it longer until it reaches the end of the plane. Another 0 here. Okay, now this is done. We're going to add the tag to this null object. This tag will associate the spline with the camera. So let's choose this one, align to spline. And let's put this here on spline path. And now the camera is associated to the spline. Here we have the position too. So what we need to animate a beginning and an end. So we'll keep this green slider here at frame 0.0. Click on position. And now we have to choose how many frames we want for our animation. So let's put, for example, 500. Stretch this out. Okay, see how it looks. And we have enough time to see how the camera gets from point A to point B. I think actually 300 is fine here. Okay, let's go to the end. Now go back here. 100 here and click Control, and here on position. Okay, and now this part is animated. The next step is to adjust the frames. As you can see at the beginning, it starts off a little slow, but this is easily fixed. Go to Window, Timeline, and we get this window here. Let's open this panel, click on this icon, and this is so that we don't have that problem on the timeline anymore. Now it starts at the same speed, and the speed is constant. Before it started off slower, and it finished slower. Now it goes at the same speed. Okay, great. Let's get rid of this. Here we can see what it looks like. Maybe the camera is a bit out of place. Okay, so let's pause. So we can move the plane like this. Let's take another look. Okay, that's looking much better. Let's go add to the camera view. The next step is to duplicate the plane. To do this, we'll create a null object. And we'll put this inside the null object. There are different ways to duplicate. In this case, we'll use instance. So click on this icon here and then select instance. What this does is duplicates the object, but without the real weight of the polygons. It's like a kind of ghost copy. So select the plane and we'll move it like this. And there's our duplicated plane. We'll have to take a look at how we're going to solve the problem of these abrupt cuts here. But don't worry, we'll do that in a moment. Control C, Control V to copy and paste another instance. Control V. And let's place the last one here. The more we add, the better the horizon looks on the camera. Okay, I think that looks good. You can't really see the end. That makes it more interesting. That's kind of what we're going for. We could even put another one. As there are any instances, it doesn't make a difference. We can keep on adding. So yeah, I think we'll add another one. Let's go out of the camera to make another instance. Control C, Control V. Place it here. When we get to this point, we do have a problem, as we said before. So when the camera goes through, you can see these areas here where the copies meet. So this is very simple to solve. Let's go into this object, into the effect like we did before. And now we're going to add another shader. In this case, we'll add another gradient. Okay, let's go inside the gradient. And we'll go here to type. And we'll select this one. So what I want is for the middle areas, or the edges, the borders of each plane, I want them to go down so they don't overlap one another. So we'll invert this. We want the parts in the middle to be higher, but the edges of the plane to be lower down. So like I said, they don't overlap each other. It's actually a little bit difficult to explain, but you'll see what I mean. It's about playing around with this. So let's move this here. And what we want is just the very end, the edge is the area that has no effect applied. Okay, let's go back. Set this to multiply. Okay, let's see how it looks. So you see that now they don't overlap. They keep the order we made on our gradient. So you see on these values here, we moved this more to the right to make a finer edge. And more or less it was that. I know it's a little bit tricky to understand, but if you put it into practice, you'll get a better understanding of how these things work. Okay, so now the borders don't overlap one another. And now if you look through the camera, you can't see that abrupt separation anymore between them. So great, we're going to leave the lesson there for now. We've seen how to place the camera and solve this problem that we had. We also added a spline that was associated to the camera. So we'll carry on in the next lesson. I'll see you there.